So this week, the Toronto Defiant don't have any Overwatch League games, so that means I'm going to review some fan-submitted gameplay. Remember to submit your gameplay, you need to follow the Toronto Defiant on Twitter and hashtag KARQ'S reviews with your replay code or a YouTube HD link of your gameplay, and you'll have a chance of being selected. So with that, let's get it started. So submitted by Tokyo_OW, this is going to be bronze gameplay at 978 SR. Let's see what we can do to help this Genji improve to hopefully hit silver. So right from the get-go, there's an immediate death. The one good thing about Genji is his shurikens have no fall-off damage, so you're able to poke from a distance. Since the game just started, there's no scouting done yet, and you have no idea what the enemy team was running. I probably would have came out from one of the top doors and poked the enemies from afar and let your tanks take the brunt of the damage instead, since they can probably survive it. As you come out of spawn for the second time, it seems like the fight is taking place very close to your spawn doors. That means securing a 1-for-1 trade is fine because it will give you the space to push the payload as the enemy team's spawn is way farther than yours. I know you may not trust your teammates for healing at this SR rating, but really there was no need to waste almost 10 seconds of your fight to dash back into your spawn for healing, rather than asking one of your healers to top you off. You were also at 125 HP, and it wasn't a huge priority since you were still behind your Rhine shield, and you had walls in front of you, you're able to line of sight it, and safely chip away at the enemy with your shurikens from that distance. Moving on, good work here coming in, and you got an assist for helping your Zarya eliminate the enemy Genji here. As a Genji player, you've got to be cognizant of the center of your screen here, and whenever you see an elimination, you need to remember your dash cooldown will always be reset and ready to go. As you chip away at the baby diva beside you, you had the opportunity right there to dash and confirm the kill quickly, but it ended up taking a little longer than optimal. No worries though, as we continue to play this out, you dashed quickly after this and dealt some immediate damage to the enemy Sigma. I think that idea was fine there, you just gotta be careful of long dashes here. So one cool tip for Genji is you can short dash, in which you shorten your distance by deliberately dashing into the ground, allowing you to stay in front of your target so you're able to look up and deflect immediately, as compared to what you did where you went past it, 180 turning, and then you had your back facing the enemy. As we move on, good job here poking with your shurikens. Your goal now is to build that Dragonblade and work with your Ana's nano boost to get good value. One thing I can point out here is to use your jump and double jump more frequently with air strafes instead of strictly being on the ground. It makes you much more difficult to hit, resulting you in taking less damage and dying less in the grand scheme of things. But in order to be effective with jumping and landing your shurikens, we need to practice your movement plus aiming first before advancing to the jumping portion. If we slow down your aim here against the Sigma, there's a lot of misses, so let's review a general rule of aim. If we try to shoot a target while moving to the right, your mouse or thumbstick, if you play on a controller, must instinctively move to the left to compensate. When moving to the left, you need to move your aim to the right to keep the target in your center. Once you get the hang of this, you can slowly add the jumps, then the double jumps, then little right-left movements in the air during the jumps as well, which again should be paired with the opposite right-left aiming. Once you've mastered this, then of course the last step is to also watch the behavior of the enemy movement and also compensate for that as well. It's a lot of moving parts, it's not as easy as it looks, and it does require a lot of practice, but work on it incrementally and you'll see major improvement. As we skip ahead, good wall climb here to catch the Bastion. You did have dash available, and one of Genji's strengths, again, is that dash reset upon elimination or assist. There was an opportunity there to use it to confirm the kill a little quicker, and have it available immediately to look up and dash and deal with the Sigma. Everything still worked out in the end here, but do keep this in mind. This is the Genji mechanic you need to learn and refine as you climb the ladder. You got the nano, got the blade, great work, and remember, the dash cooldown once again, don't forget it. It does deal 75 damage when you're nanoed and can help you get that reset much quicker than normal. As we move to the third checkpoint, good initiation dash here, hitting multiple targets, almost building up that blade. You just gotta be careful of the multiple enemies in front of you. You gotta deflect to keep yourself healthy enough to back up out of line of sight. The enemy dragon strike does come through. Enemy Genji doesn't notice you, but you walk into the dragon anyways. No need to panic, be confident in your Genji play. I think the corner was actually out of range of the enemy dragon strike, and you might have been able to hide out there till it was over. I'm going to skip ahead to this next fight. Your Rhine opens up with a shatter and unfortunately gets it blocked by the enemy Sigma shield. Now here comes your blade, but before we break this one down, just be careful whenever you blade of, being first one in while going head on. If you're first in line, the enemies can all collapse onto you and kill you before you even swing your first target. You can either wait for the nano first to give you that bit of tankiness, or wait for a tank on your team to draw some attention away before committing to the blade. Now, if we look at the blade itself, honestly, good work. Once again, just remember that dash cooldown coming up every time you see that elimination in the center of your screen. You had the opportunity to immediately dash and kill the enemy Genji here before using up a swing, which might have saved you enough time, like 1 extra second, to get an extra swing at the Moira to kill her before she faded. These little things actually do add up in the long run, because a confirmed kill that got away can be that one enemy that swings the team fight in the opposite direction. So we got to make sure we refine those mechanics as we get better. But no worries, one step at a time. As you come out, there's a Winston on your Ana. Good job in using your secondary fire when fighting a tank up close, because it's both faster and effective at this range as compared to your primary fire. Nice attempt at the deflect here. I know you're trying to get the orb. Honestly, fine by me here. As you duel this Genji, again, try your best to progressively get into that habit of the jump, double jump, and air movements while firing shurikens to make yourself harder to hit. I know you committed to the dash here following to try to burst him down, but unfortunately it missed, but I'm honestly okay with this. You dashed while staying out of line of sight of the enemy. There was a chance to turn around, secondary fire melee, burst him down if it connected. Didn't work out here ultimately. The enemy Lucio starts dueling you, and again, as we mentioned earlier, you can head on over to the practice range and get used to that idea of the movement, counter movement stuff. As Moira ults you down, let's skip the death cam and head on over to the final fight. The enemy Genji starts his ult, and he doesn't have a nano, so I'm okay with the idea of you dashing away from him to stay away. However, an even more optimal play would be to bait the Genji to swing at you, and to take his attention away from your teammates by using your deflect. Because in case you didn't know, deflect stops the enemy blade from dealing any damage to you. And once you bait out a swing or two from him, then you can dash past him to both deal some damage and to get away. After the enemy Genji is eliminated, your team is up a few kills and you pull out your blade to secure the round. Overall, for being at this SR, I've seen worse for gold rated Genjis, so you definitely have the potential to climb well over 1000 SR and crack that 2k SR threshold for gold. You just gotta work on 1, cooldown management. Be mindful of your dash and when it's back up. No need to deflect when you're not in imminent danger or there's not enough spam coming in from the enemy. Number 2, your movement. Too much ground Genji for my liking. He's mobile, right? Use your double jumps, wall climbs, and chip away at the enemies with your shurikens from a top-down angle rather from a ground-based level. And 3, your aim. Obviously, your aim could be refined a bit. Practice keeping your targets in the center of your crosshair by counteracting your own movement like how I explained earlier, and you'll be golden. Hope this helps, Tokyo. Keep grinding, and thank you for your submission. And that's it for this week's fan-submitted gameplay. You can subscribe to the channel up here, and watch the other episodes of the series down here.